And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. My name is Daniel Wahome. We're having conversations around sport. We've had one about sport for social change, and now let's have one about boxing, the sweet science. Yeah, on this day, on this 4th day of October 2021, a change at the sign language interpretation, and right now we have got Lucy Mwaura. Previously it was Susan Thuku. Well, we have got the World Boxing Championships that will be happening in Belgrade, Serbia from the 24th of October, and Kenya is going to be represented in all the 13 weight divisions. There was a change in the weight divisions by IBA, the world governing body for amateur boxing, and that means they took effect in August. That was after basically after the Olympics. Couldn't be used during the Olympics, but they are now in force and they will be used at that point. How has that changed the face of boxing? But there is also a backstory. Last week, Richard McLaren, he was hired to do an investigation into allegations of match manipulation, especially by referees and judges in the world of boxing. And that means that in Rio 2016, there are medals that were awarded and they're being questioned. The validity of those medals is being questioned. The future of boxing as an Olympic sport is also in question. Who would think of an Olympics without boxing? The one other medal that we've got outside of athletics in this country come from boxing. Kenya has produced a world champion, Steve Mushoki, better known as Destiny in the boxing circles. Can we see that replicated? And to speak about that, the communications chief at the Boxing Federation of Kenya, Duncan Kuria. Duncan, good morning.
Morning to you.
I know, last week everyone in boxing, when this was released and people started looking at the McLaren independent investigations on IBA, what the shock was there was huge. But from your point of view, what is the first thing, going through the report that, hit your eye?
It's the whole report. It's like a movie script, like you said, and it's dramatic, and it's very disappointing that we prepare our boxers to go and perform well, and sometimes we have a lot of pressure because we prepare our boxers hoping they are going to perform well and win medals for the country and fly our flag very high. But it's so shocking to learn that when we go for some of these tournaments, the bouts are fixed before they happen in the ring. And it was so shocking when you read some of the details that are coming out from the McLaren report, because in Rio, and it's not just Rio, this thing happened even in the qualifiers before the Rio Olympic Games. Around 2015, or the World Championship, these things have been happening, and it's crazy because you hear that the person who is in charge of the boxing, or the people who are in the draw commission, there's a lot of manipulation with the referees. The referee and judges are working together with the supervisor, but I think the person who was doing a lot of the manipulation was the executive director, together with in the knowledge of the president.
The then president.
The then president, yes. Chinku Wu, he was from Taiwan. And I was shocked to learn that a day before, a list will be prepared of all the bouts that will be taking place that day, and the guy has already decided who is going to win. Is it red or blue? So when you're going to compete in the ring, the judges who will be positioned will be manipulated. Actually, even the judges themselves, it was so problematic to read that one of the person in the draw commission, the draw commission is supposed to be the one that appoints the judges to officiate in a bout.
Yes.
And this judge is called Ted Turner. He was saying that when they looked at the names of the judges who are taken to officiate in Rio, he can say 18 of them were cheaters, 9 of them were incompetent. And that way he was saying he was being generous, because he was saying 27 out of the 36 were corrupt officials that they were appointed without the knowledge of the draw commission, which ideally is supposed to identify them. So you can see when we are being told that the decisions were decided before the bouts happened, and the officials now, when they were being positioned to go and do the manipulation, they were just going to follow what they had been told by the executive director. And so it comes out clearly that most of the decisions that were that were done at the Rio Olympic Games, they were not correct. There were 11 bouts where you can...
Actually, I want to come to that, Duncan. And the first thing that I want to... I mean, when you talk about the draws, it has already been said that how the boxer who... I mean, even some of the way the boxers were... how boxers are paired.
Yes.
Some of it was already predetermined.
Yeah.
And it makes it... First of all, let's just take a look at boxing as a sport. It's a basic sport.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali said that. It's a basic sport. First of all, I mean, at amateur level, you are either in red or in blue. Then number 2, you either win or lose. It's 3 rounds, no time added on.
Yes.
How deep, I mean, how...
You know how crazy it is? Like you are saying, it's basic, because when you get into the ring, you get into the ring to fight. And now it's so crazy that even before we fight, somebody has already decided who is going to win. So you get into the ring, you are wearing red. You are really beating the person who is wearing blue, but it has already been determined the person in blue is supposed to win. And the judges who are going to officiate already know how they need to score that bout. And another thing which is a bit it's suspicious is that we have 5 judges. All 5 are going to score, but only 3 are going to count. It's so crazy that how the manipulation was done was they pick about 4 or even 5, actually, because all of them now, from what Tetan was saying, all of them were corrupt, and they knew, they were discussing these things before, in the morning before the bout start. So they had already decided how they are going to give points, and even when they are positioning themselves, it's manipulated in such a way that there's a person who sits position 1, where the judge number 1 is very critical, because where the judge number 1 sits, he's able to see all the other judges, and he could easily signal them how they are going to score a particular bout. So it's, I don't know, it's madness.
Okay, the other one, and was this, the amount of money that was flowing for them to bribe, and the methods. I mean, I was reading it, people using toothpaste tubes.
Put money.
To put money.
Yeah.
And they roll in the hundreds of dollars and move around it. How?
I don't know. Yeah, it shows you it's part of the big game where decisions were made before, and there was a lot of corruption. Money is involved. The judges who are coming to officiate are bought before the bouts. There was also another, apart from the one where that money was being put in test tube, there was one where Mongolia was trying to buy a medal, $250,000 in a semi-final against France. But now that they didn't pick that one, they didn't pick the money, but the boxer lost, and they were not happy with the decision, because they also think the decision was manipulated. But you can see the kind of money
you're going to manipulate a bout, but you lose.
Yes.
And say that the fight was manipulated.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. But it's happening so many times, because when you read that report, there are so many cases where that is happening, where we have discussed how it's supposed to go, then it go, there's
probably a KO.
There are double corruption happening at the same time. Then one plot does not play out as it was intended. Then the official now have to find a way to accommodate it, because there are those who had already decided that particular boxers need to win. And especially how it came out is that at the Olympic level, medals are bought. And how the medals are bought is the National Olympic Committee uses money to influence through the national federations. So when, as a national federation, maybe as Kenya Boxing Federation, we go and sweet talk the executive director or the supervisor, we want to get favors, so, and we give money. The other alternative was we host a major world championship in the country, which is a more expensive way, because when we host that way, then we can be promised to get some medals when we go for or major championship or even the Olympic Games. So that's how it was done. And then we have some of these countries who are from the former Soviet, the likes of Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan
especially, yes.
Azerbaijan gave AIBA an investment loan of $10 million. And in return, they were supposed to win medals at the London Olympic Games. And then I think just before the games, BBC came up with a story that there are medals for money. And then now it said that the report says that the president of the Boxing Federation now instructed the judges that a boxer from Azerbaijan is not supposed to win any medal, so that the story from BBC does not seem to be true. So you can see how deep that corruption was. And then after the Olympics, we had the World Championship, and then now he reversed that decision, telling the judges that now they have to ensure that no bad decision is supposed to go against Azerbaijan, so that they compensate for the failure to get medals from London Olympics. So you can see the road was a bit deep, and it's so unfortunate.
2016, they've mentioned 11 fights. And in conversation, you mentioned to me that the boxer Nico Koth lost to in Tokyo was also in Rio 2016.
Yes.
And his fight is one of the 11 that was assessed by McLaren.
Yes.
And considered to be dubious.
Yes, it was about number 179. And what happened is that when you look at the system, where there are 5 judges who are scoring, somehow the
designed.
Yeah, that's how it's designed. But it's so unfortunate that when you do the analysis, you find that if you look at the decision of the 5 judges, the boxer from Mongolia lost. But using the system as it was, he won 2-1. But when you look at the 5 judges, he lost 3-2. So you see, the decisions that were not taken into consideration are the 2 judges who scored that he won. And the ones that were picked is 1 judge who said he won and 2 who said he lost. So you see now, the system has a problem, and I think that is why the International Olympic Committee has a problem with IBA, because they are having issues with the integrity of the sport and in regards to the scoring of the bouts. It needs to be free and fair. Like, for instance, when we went to the Olympics in Tokyo, which was being managed by the IOC Boxing Task Force, the results could be displayed on the screen, and they are the score for all the 5 judges who were taken into consideration. You don't use just 3. So there is an improvement which the Boxing Task Force took into consideration. And I think that is what also they are pushing IBA to take on board. And I'm hoping that is what will be used in Belgrade, because if the 5 judges can score that a particular boxer has won, then that's how, when you look at how the corruption was done, was ideally they all need to score the same way.
Unless there is a knockout.
In matches which they have fixed. And I think one of them, one of the most controversial one, was the quarterfinal between Russia and Ireland, Michael Collin. Collin believed he won, and he was the world champion at that time and the European champion. But then I think his bout was fixed. From what was happening on the ring, he won. But when the decision was announced, he didn't agree with it. He removed his vest. He made a protest in the ring. And now the media took attention and complained about that and not so much about it. And what happened was, immediately that complaint went to the media, and they started highlighting the work of the judges. The 5-star judges who are part of the big cartel, together with the executive director and the president, were suspended. But the suspension was that they just don't appear on the day when the bouts are happening, but they were still in the hotel where they do the morning meetings, and where they somehow act as if they are supervisors of the 3-star judges. So they were still able to manipulate what was happening, staying at the hotel, because they didn't go home.
Sounds like El Chapo.
It was
controlling the drug business, and
actually,
still inside.
It was terrible, because now the 5-star judges were able to manipulate that. And then you can see in when you see the recommendation of some of the senior staff from IBA, they had recommendation that some of the judges were seriously incompetent and they were not able to handle Olympic Games. And to the shock of the boxing world is, some of the judges that were said to be the most corrupt and incompetent are the ones who officiated the most bouts. And there's a particular one from Vietnam who officiated 87 bouts. Another one, Wahome, Pat Fiacco, a former official of IBA and who resigned because of the mess, he said during the 2015 World Championship, he witnessed that referee signaling the others how to score a particular bout. He raised that complaint. He went to the executive director, but whatever he was saying, the complaint was not picked. The referee was not reprimanded, and to the disappointment of those who love boxing, the referee was taken to Tokyo, and he officiated in 85 bouts.
This year?
No, that was in
the World Championship.
No, that was in the Rio Olympics.
The Rio Olympics.
So you can see the officials who are said to be incompetent officiated the most bouts, and you cannot. I don't know how you can explain somebody who was said to be incompetent, and of course it's star 3 but incompetent, so officiated 85 bouts. But there is somebody who is star 5. Star 5 is the best of the best. And there were those who, that is what they were formed by the executive director. There were 7 5-star referees who were the best, and they're supposed to be paid by AIBA. So somehow they were seen as if they were officials of AIBA because they're being paid by AIBA. And so with them, they are the ones who took the powers of commissions.
Aha. So there you have it. Now let me ask, we're coming to the World Championships.
Yes.
And you are also at the Olympics, so you witnessed this. How's the refereeing and judging now in boxing? Because the backdrop of this McLaren report is going to make anybody who is a referee and a judge in Belgrade think twice about any funny move they may want to pull.
I don't know. When I read this report, the McLaren report, and I try to recall what I saw in Tokyo, I'm not happy because there's a particular bout, Nick Okoth versus Mongolian. And I raised a complaint even at with the leader of the boxing task force about the decision that was taken, because I think the bout was fixed, because when I read what was happening and then what I saw, because I believe Nick dominated 5th round, the last round, third round.
Yes, second
and in my opinion, Nick should have won third round by 5-0. Apparently, he lost it by 3-2. And that was the deciding round. And then now you come back and recall. You come back and recall what was happening. Now when you read this the McLaren report, and then what you witnessed in the ring, you find there are some judges who are scoring bouts in a particular way, so that they are still favored by the powers that are to continue officiating. And in particular, I can say there is a judge from Morocco who never gave Nick even a single round throughout the fight. I
mean, I'm not a boxer, but I know clearly Nick won. Everyone agrees Nick took the second clean.
Yes.
So that's Tokyo. Belgrade.
Yes.
How is it going to be like?
I don't know. With the report, I think Belgrade is going to be more dramatic. And there's going to be a lot of tension, I think, because also there's a lot of pressure from the International Olympic Committee.
Yes.
Because there are some serious reforms that we need to implement as the boxing fraternity. And I believe the AIBA president, Mr. Umar Kremlov, is up to the task. Actually, it is Kremlov who appointed McLaren to do the report, so that we know what was the problem in Rio, and if actually there was manipulation, and it has come out clearly there's manipulation. And he has said that there is no room in AIBA for anybody who has fixed a fight.
We shall be watching that.
So I believe the report, once it's completed, because it has 3 stages, one stage has already been done. So we are hoping serious action is going to be taken against those who manipulated the bouts, because the problem, as it comes out, it's with personnel. There are people who are in boxing who are manipulating these decisions, and in my opinion, we need to get rid of these people who are manipulating bouts, so that we remain with a clean boxing, and we also secure our place in the Olympic family. Because we risk being suspended from the Olympics if we don't do reforms and comply with the recommendation from the International Olympic Committee.
Well, and talking about it, boxing has always been an Olympic sport. And anytime the Olympics, have been there, the ancient and the modern one, boxing has always been there. Professional boxers we speak about have all gone through the Olympics. Think of Anthony Joshua, think of Muhammad Ali, think of Floyd Mayweather. The Olympics has always been a platform for them. And let's talk about the World Championships now. 30 new weight divisions, Duncan. How has this changed the way boxers plan for themselves? Because cruiserweight wasn't there. Let's start with that one.
Yeah,
we didn't have a cruiserweight previously.
Yeah.
We didn't have cruiserweights, and the minimum weight, which was in the pro box, which is in pro boxing,
yes,
is now included in the amateur division.
Yes.
How has this changed everything?
Yeah, they are not very big changes, but there are still changes because especially now, like registration for World Championship ends today.
Yes,
the last day. Luckily, in Kenya, we have already done our registration and we are set. With the weights, yes, there is an inclusion of 5 new weights, 3 in men, 2 in women.
Yes.
In men, we're going for men World Championship. The women World Championship will be in December in Istanbul, Turkey. For the men, which is going to happen in Belgrade, Serbia, we are going to have 13 weights. We start with minimum weight, which is 46 to 48 kgs. That is a new one because it was not there. But previously, we used to have light flyweight, which was 48 kgs. But now the weight has been reduced and the name has changed from light fly to minimum. So in men, we have minimum as a new one. And then we have featherweight is coming back. It had been removed. We used to have 10. Featherweight is new one that is coming back. Then we have light middleweight is coming back, 71 kg.
Actually,
but
for the featherweight,
for me to give you all of them, I start with minimum weight.
That's
minimum weight is 48 kgs.
Up to 48, yes.
Then flyweight is 51 kgs.
Then the bantam.
Then bantamweight is 54 kgs. Featherweight 57 kgs. Lightweight 60 kgs. Light welterweight 63.5 kgs.
That's where now it changes. The classification now moves 3.5 kilos.
Yes. But it's crazy because, we have something we call Olympic weights.
Yes.
So when it comes to Olympic weights, now these weights now they differ because previously lightweight in the Olympic was from 57 to 63.
Yes.
So you see there's a big difference. So that is what IBA is trying to cure. So light welter is 63.5. Then welterweight is 67 kgs. In the Olympics, welterweight was 69 kgs. But now it's coming to 69. No, 67.
67. Because that would ideally be a light middle.
And in women, it's 66 welterweight. So there's a big difference. Now we have light middleweight, which is now being reintroduced. It was there before, but has not, in the last maybe 6-7 years, has not been there. So light middleweight is 71 kgs. Then we have middleweight, which is 75 kgs.
Yes.
Then we have light heavyweight, 80 kgs. Previously, we used to have light heavyweight at 81 kgs.
Okay.
So now light heavy is at 80 kgs. Then we have a new weight, cruiserweight, 86 kgs. And then from cruiserweight, you go to heavyweight.
Heavyweight.
It used to be 91. Now heavyweight is 92 kgs. And then super heavyweight is now
anyone over 92.
92 plus kgs. That's how, those are the 13 new weights that we are going to use when we go to Belgrade. Of course, we had to do adjustment with our boxers. I don't know if Corona somehow assisted in this boxer gaining weight. When we went for
he was sitting idle.
When we went for Zone 3 boxing championship, they struggled with weights. Somebody like Shafi is moving from flyweight to bantam.
To bantam, yeah.
Then we have somebody like Cosby. George Cosby is moving from middleweight to light heavyweight. Hezron Maganga was struggling with 81 kgs. Now he's having to move to 86 kgs, cruiserweight, which is new. I think that is very good for him. So we have done adjustment with our boxers to see they can fit where they fit very well. They don't have to shed a lot of kilograms to be able to participate effectively, and we believe they are going to perform well. Hopefully the officiating is going to be better so that we just compete with the boxer, the opponent in the other corner. I'm hoping they are going to do well.
So let's talk about some of these boxers. I mean, they were selected based on the 2019 Kenya Open Boxing Championship. We know boxing has been out
all that time.
All that time. We have not had competitive boxing. Let's talk about some interesting people here.
Yes.
Bronze, I mean, from the 2019 African Games, we saw how, and also from Senegal, think of boxers like Shafi Bakari,
yes,
Boniface Mugunde, and George Cosby Ouma. How have you seen them develop over that time?
There's a lot of progress. especially the boxers. Although it's very unfortunate that Corona somehow made us not go for the World Olympic qualifier. That is where we expected some of these boxers to go and qualify. So it means we believed that if we went for the World qualifier, we'll have gotten more slots than what we got. So I believe somebody like Shafi Bakari has a very good chance of going to Belgrade and performing very well and even possibly getting a medal. George Mogunde has been the best welterweight.
Yes.
He has not lost a bout since I think 2018. So he has been undisputed, but we thought we'd do some adjustment because when he was welterweight, he was 69. So we want him to go to 71, light middleweight. And then there's somebody, Shigali, who used to be in light welter to go to welterweight. So there's a bit of change there. But I believe he's in very good shape and he's a medal prospect. And we are hoping that when he goes to Belgrade, he gives his all. Because it's also tough when you are putting pressure on them that they have to go and win medals. So we try to motivate them, tell them that we want them to go there and give their all. You go there, do your best. You have that peace of mind that you get into that ring, you're going to give your all. And I believe if they all give their all, they are able to go and get very good result. We are hoping that the championship is going to be a bit more transparent than any other before. Thank God because of the McLaren report. So I'm thinking with that we are going to have fair officiating, and I believe once we have fair officiating we are able to post very good results.
Okay, so Duncan, as we close now, I want you to speak about two people. One, Steve Mushoki. I mean, when you talk about a Kenyan world champion in boxing, one name crops up, Steve Mushoki.
Yeah.
And also give you a chance to give your tribute to two-time African champion, the late Steve Thika.
Maybe I'll add something else. There are some changes that IBA has also introduced which we need to highlight, because when you go to Belgrade, there are some changes which the new president has brought in, and they want to make the games to be a bit more colorful. For the first time, you're going to use white gloves. Normally we use red and blue, but now we are going to use white. And with the uniform of the team, normally we have red and blue, but this time they want us to use the national colors. So we are able to have different, you can have red, you can have like what we had.
The honeycomb.
Yes. So they want it to be a bit more colorful. So they have allowed teams can use national colors with their uniform.
Okay, good. Mushoki.
Steve Mushoki, apparently, he won his gold medal in 1978
in
Belgrade,
when it was Yugoslavia.
But then it was Yugoslavia. So I think this is going to be very special, and it can be even more wonderful if one of our boxers can be able to go there and win a medal, if not a gold medal.
Tribute to that.
So my condolences to the family and friends of the late Steve Thika. Thika was a champion, a serious champion. He represented this country in Mexico City, 1968 Olympic Games. He also participated in the 1972 Olympic Games in Munich. He won Africa Championship, I think, 3 times. He's a serial champion, and he lost his life a few days ago. I think he'll be buried on 6th in Nakuru. He suffered from COVID. So when you were starting the show, I heard you giving some statement about curfew and COVID, and I think we still need to emphasize to our people that COVID is real, because Thika suffered from COVID and he was hospitalized for some time. He later recovered, but again he suffered from pneumonia, and that's how he lost his life in Kenyatta. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and we wish the family all the best as they prepare during this hard time when they're preparing to lay him to rest in the course of the week. And as a federation, we'll try our best to see if we can be present to represent him, because he used to be our champion, and we really appreciate the services that he gave to this country.
All right. Duncan Kuria is the communications chief at the Boxing Federation of Kenya. Thank you, for breaking down that, telling us the dirty side of boxing and how it's being cleaned up, and Kenya preparing for the World Championships in Belgrade. We'll be coming back with somebody I prefer, who's known in tennis circles as Kenya won. She's around and she's given us half an hour of our time. But before we get to Angela Okutoi, we get back to a conversation around sport. And we speak to one of the most exciting youngsters we've got in the country. She's not yet 18, but what she has achieved is a kind of story that we used to hear growing up. I mean, when you hear of names like Monica Seles, the Williams sisters, they hit their peak when they were still teenagers, and we're seeing it still happening in that sport, tennis. Angela Okutoi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
It's a pleasure to have you back here. After how long? 8 months before you left for the ITF High Performance Center in Morocco. First, what's been your overall experience like?
My experience at the High Performance Training Center in Morocco has been good. Can't complain, and I'm really grateful to have that chance to be part and being there. And the experience was nice. I got to practice with new faces, new coaches, and learning some couple of new things. And yeah, it was nice. Let's
start with how you traveling from here, moving over there, and adjusting to the change in culture. What was the process for you? How did the instructors at the center help you?
They were polite and kind. They welcomed me very well. The culture is quite different because they don't speak much of English. They speak French and Arabic. Well, some coaches, they do speak English together with players, so we were able to communicate well. And also it was good because I was able to try and learn some of their culture, Arabic, and also some French.
Arabic, okay, just tell us about Arabic. I mean, how would you say Arabic? Let me think of a serve in Arabic. How would you say that?
What?
Service in Arabic.
Service. I didn't learn that one.
Ni ile tu ya kuomba maji.
Ya kusema asante. Shukran.
Shukran. That one is there.
Habari, morning. Nimesahau.
Utakumbuka tu. The moment you get there, you will learn that again. Now, the other thing is, once you get to that high performance training center, the coaches actually can tell you play. What were some of the things that the coaches picked up and said, Angela, let's now help you improve on this?
I believe because at the beginning they really don't know me, so they're trying to see and get to know me better. But two things I believe they were mostly telling me to work on was my serve on the toss, because mostly when I was serving, I would toss the ball going back instead of it being in front here. And also it was on my forehand also. I was told not to bring my shoulder into my body.
Oh, so you are actually doing your forehand from here?
Yes.
You're actually supposed
to be open. Yeah, those two things.
So the service, how has once they spoke to you about the service, how did it change? How have you seen it change?
Well, it was good because before it was good also, but now I believe it's better. Because before, when I was tossing behind, I would end up landing and then not having a good balance. Yeah, because of the toss. So if I toss behind, I go like this. But now with the proper toss, I'm able to have a good balance when landing.
Oh, so ideally, where is it supposed? If you're looking at the ball, it's not supposed to get out of your line of sight here. So you had to keep looking for it.
Yes, but it also depends because you have 3 types of serve, and each serve, you might have one serve for all the 3 types, or you need to have 3 types of serve with 3 different tosses.
Saya, tufundishe.
Okay, if let's say you want to serve slice, you can serve, your toes has to be, I don't know how to call them, but it has to be on this side. And then if you want to serve, let's say T, maybe a little bit behind you, but not too far. And then if you want to serve flat, body, that's body, somewhere here where you can just punch it.
That's what I see. I mean, in high school, you'd see the second serve, someone try go for them, one that's quite fast.
Yeah.
But then the next one Just a tap.
Yeah.
After that, what else do they teach you in Morocco outside of, the technical skills in tennis?
I believe outside they don't teach you, but from you can see, like there's no one to push you around. It's you now. You have to be independent on what you're doing, be focused, and know what needs to be done at this particular time, because no one is going to come around looking for you, because it's you. Like, you have to be independent.
Tennis is a sport. I know you're still at the junior level, and as you graduate, it's a sport where there's, what would I call it, a university type of system. How are they engaging on things like media relations, how to approach, if there's money involved in tournaments? What's the education?
My education?
Yeah, I mean on media relation, working with the media, watu kama sisi. Also, if there's money and how you're supposed to handle it. For example, I know you're a junior, so if you do win money, that money would have to be channeled through the Tennis Kenya.
Yeah.
Things like that. How do you have those lessons?
Well, they don't teach me that, but I'm being told by, let's say, Coach Rogoi. Also, my parent knows that, and some guys, they're telling me, that
all those things are important.
Yeah.
Let's also talk about, the competitions that you've been involved in. At the start of the year, you were playing in the Nairobi J4, and that was that was at the singles level. So you were at the singles level. Tell us about the J4 and J5 competitions and what you picked up from them, because that was just before you traveled to the ITF Center in Morocco.
Well, J4 and J5, there's not much of a difference. Maybe the points, that's the difference. But the level, I don't think there's a big difference. It's quite the same, but it's just the points are different.
So let's now move to a higher level. J3, this is where you played in Tunisia, and that was in April. That was your first competition. Made it to the second round. How did you find that level?
Well, that level, it wasn't easy at first, because the guys there, it's in North, they're really tough. Well, I'm tough, but
yeah, you're Kenya one for that reason.
But they're tough. Mentally and I believe physically. Well, I believe at that time I wasn't mentally strong. Not sure what happened, but yeah. But yeah, the level is quite tough.
Then around August and September, you spent your time in Egypt now playing at the J3, and you also got an opportunity to play at the J2 tournament. You made it to the quarterfinals and you lost to Jermaine Sharif. Apparently, you played doubles with her. Tell us about getting to that level and in this level of the junior competitions, because you can see the grades are going up.
Well, when I played Jermaine, I've once played her twice actually, and the first time when I played her, she won me, and then the second time when I played her, I won her. It was an under 14 tournament, African AJC in Algeria. Well, in Egypt, it was tough for me, but I wouldn't say that tough, but she's a good player. She plays good. Well, that match, it was tough for both of us because we weren't giving each other time or any free points. But she played better than me in the third set, which I believe gave her the match. Well, I didn't play smart in the third set and I lost it. But the level there in grade 3 in Egypt and also the grade 2, it's quite high because you get to play people with ranking, good ranking, and not just ranking. They have that ranking and they're actually playing good. So it was also good for me because I was able to play competitive matches and get to even see myself how I'm playing with people with good ranking. I believe in grade 2, the first week in quarters, I played with a girl ranked 88 in the world. Well, she clashed me 6-1, 6-1. But I felt it was good experience, and she even played Roland Garros, and me playing her, I didn't play bad, but I tried my best, which I wasn't sad about it.
But also at the J3, you made it to the semi-finals, and that was at the J3 in Cairo. That was just before you played the J2, and losing to Ana Candiota of Brazil, 4-6, 6-1, 2-6. At that point, how did you find, that your confidence levels coming up?
Well, before going into the match, my coach, my teammate, and I, we had high hopes I was going to win that match, because how she's playing and how I'm playing,
they're identical or different?
No, we are different, but me personally, you could see I play better than her. She plays good, but how I'm playing, her game style is not quite the same as mine. Mine is aggressive, and her, it's counter puncher. Well, it's tough for me to play someone countering everything, but I had a chance to win that match, because in the first set I was leading 4-1 up, but I lost the set 6-4, and then second set I was leading 5-love, and then I was thinking about the first set. If I had won when I was 4-1, the match would be done now, which I believe that made my third set confusing. Maybe that's why I even lost the match, but I had the chance to reach the finals.
And you also played at the J2, you made it to the finals in the doubles with Amelia Waligora. How do you pronounce that name? It's Belgium.
Yes, Waligora.
Sounds almost like Walibora. But what was it like for you? You won the J3 doubles, playing with Jamin Sharif, ideally. And, at times when we say the results are there, and as I go through these results here, you make it to the final. You won you got to the J3 in Megin with Celine Simunyu. That made it to the quarters, but in Egypt you won your J3s and through to the quarterfinals of the J2s. How's your doubles game growing?
Well, according to the results, I believe it's quite good.
Yeah, they speak for themselves.
Yeah, but when you see me playing, well, I don't have much good volleys, but I don't know how I'm winning doubles matches. But I believe it's a good thing, and maybe in future I might be playing doubles. Yeah, but it's good.
You mentioned about the volleys. What have you been doing to help improve the volleys that you have at the moment, so that gets you to that point? Because you mentioned they are, from what you say, they are important in the doubles game.
Well, my volleys currently, they're not bad, they're good, but when I panic, they become bad. So I believe that's what makes me sometimes lose doubles matches or not seeing myself having good volleys, because my volleys, you have to block, but I swing a forehand. But now I'm improving them and they're getting better.
You keep talking about mental strength and this. What are you doing to, such that when you get onto a game, that every point gone, these points have gone, this set is gone, you focus on the next?
Well, I have routines, before point, after point, during the point. So I try as much as possible to follow the routines. Obviously, it's not going to be easy to follow all of them, but I try to follow them, which I believe helps me in my matches.
Just tell us about some of these routines, because I know of a guy called Milos Raonic, the guy who looks, before he serves, he looks like a guy who's watching a boring movie. He's basically, you see him this, and then suddenly he unleashes a serve that's at 210 kph. How do you do this?
Okay, one thing I do before the point, maybe the point is done before the point starts, I might, when I'm serving, maybe bounce 3 times, breathe, and then serve. And then during the point when I'm playing, I might grunt yes. And after the point, let's say if I win the point, I might say ale, maybe showing my fist or just saying by word. Or if I lose the point, obviously I can say ale, I lost the point. I might just step, just leave, not leave the court, leave the point, and then walk to the fence, not to the fence, but like maybe 2 meters.
Or
and
to
then-
the edge of the
yes,
court now.
Yes, yes. And then come back and then do the same.
Looking forward for you, knowing that at the start of the year, you know, you're ranking up 127, but at times with few competitions, the rankings can go down. What are you looking out for, knowing that, you know, in a couple of years, we won't be saying Angela is a junior tennis player anymore. You'll have it to senior ranks.
Well, my plans are when I finish juniors, for sure I'll go to college, but like in college I'll try as much as possible to play some futures to try and get my WTA ranking at high, so that maybe after futures or maybe during when I'm playing my college time, I might decide to maybe stop college and then move to professional. But like now, what I'm thinking is that after college, I might try and see myself through.
You mentioned this. You've moved from Kenya for the entire year. You were in Morocco. And tell us about how you're keeping up with your studies then, because you mentioned college. How are you doing this?
Well, now I'm in my last year of school, and keeping up, it's not bad, it's good, because like after training I usually have time to study, and it's quite good because I usually follow those times, and which I believe that's why I'm ahead in school, and yeah, it's good.
Wait, just a bit, which curriculum are you on now?
I'm doing US system ed options.
So it's easier for you to actually now transition to a US college, having picked that up. Because in Gekwani 844 yetu, with all the practicals that are there, I'm sure you would be having a different conversation.
Yeah.
Your outlook for the rest of the year, competition-wise?
And this month, I'm going, actually this Wednesday, I'm going to South Africa to play 3 tournaments, grade 3, grade 2, and A. Yeah.
I know you've had the experience of grade 3 and grade 2. Tell us about the grade A and from what you had.
Well, from what I had and from what I see, grade A is kind of like a Grand Slam, but it's just the name is A, and that one is Grand Slam. So like in grade A, I might meet people with now the actual ranking, like
WTA, not your ITF at the moment. With actually
ITF. No.
With proper ITF ranking.
Yes.
Single digits.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
All right, Angela. And beyond that, okay, that's you're traveling this month. What about November, December?
Well, still waiting and seeing.
Angela Okutoi, thank you very much for your time this morning. She's Kenya's top female player. She's still a junior and learning, and at the same time, I know, working at the ITF Center in Morocco. Yeah, you wanted to say something? Nataka kusema jumbe ya mwisho. Yeah, it's because I saw you wave, so I thought there is something that you would have wanted to say. Angela Okutoi, Kenya's top female tennis player. She's been in Morocco at the ITF High Performance Center, speaking about how her game has changed and also the competitions she's played in. In the singles, she's playing at the highest level for her ranking and moving up every grade 1 point at a time. We wish you all the best. Have a safe trip.
Santi.
And enjoy. And let's see how well you perform. You know how it usually ends up in premium smiles at times for every sportsman in the country. Thank you very much. Time for me to leave. It's been a pleasure being with you. Conversations with Fatma Dikadir and Duncan Kuria, and now with Angela Okutoi. I want to say thank you to the team that put this together, and you, the viewer. Our sign language interpreter has been Lucy Mora. Coming up next, Kurunzi ya Mashinani.